Hello and welcome to Who's On Next, the podcast where I'm only now realizing I should have called it Quarantine. Today we have a guest known for a plethora of online work such as Angel Dust in Hazbin Hotel. He was Shazam for Death Battle, and he's Rocky in the upcoming short film Lackadaisy. It is Michael Kovach, or Kovach.
Hi, that's me. What's good? How are you doing? I'm very sleep deprived right now.
We just had this conversation before
We did. I don't
the
know
call.
if this will be in the podcast at all, but I've been awake for 25 hours and I feel very good. I'm feeling great.
You feeling motivated? You're feeling energized? Or are you feeling
I've
like
got so much energy! I've got energy to spare. Okay, that woke me up. I'm awake. All right, I'm staying awake at least another 3 hours after that.
Oh my fucking god. Okay.
Oh.
That's the best introduction I think I've had so far. So
Our window is open and we live in a fucking apartment complex with such thin walls. I guarantee you all of my neighbors on this floor heard me.
Someone just fucking thought they were shot from...
Oh man.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's a good wake me up. All right.
Okay, so where did you get your start? What interested you in voice acting?
So, technically, if we want to get real, it was back in like middle school. I was homeschooled for a little bit because of a previous encounter I had back in elementary school that I went to a certain elementary school in 5th grade that like I really hated, and so I got homeschooled for a while. Anyway, that's beyond the point. While I was homeschooled, I kind of realized that I really liked listening to cartoon voices, and particularly Mickey Mouse. I was always really intrigued by how someone could do a voice like that that's not their normal voice, and just do like a cartoon voice. So I was a little kid. I was like, "Oh boy, haha, doing Mickey Mouse." That was like the biggest thing that really introduced me. There's also Sonic games. Like I really loved Sonic the Hedgehog.
Which generation?
Adventure all the way back as a kid. Like, I mean, that was still technically what was going on, releasing and was relevant at the time was the adventure games and Heroes. So I'd not really seen Sonic 06 just yet by that point. But, the first community I ever really got into for voice acting was the Sonic community. So, I mean, technically, I guess you could say that I have Sonic to thank for getting my introduction into voice acting, because I joined, like, the fan dubbing community, just doing like fan dubs of Sonic 06 clips, funny enough, and Sonic X clips. So that was an interesting time.
So I've done like comic stuff, because comic dubbing is like a big thing right now for Sonic.
Oh yeah, huge thing.
Yeah,
there's a lot of really cool comic dub projects out there. I don't think I've been a part of a comic dub in a long time, but I think I've done them.
I've done like small comic dub things. I've done Vector's my favorite, so if I can get a chance to do Vector in something, I always try to get to do Vector.
Yeah, I think I did Vector in a comic dub with someone. I can't remember their username, but it is in my voice acting playlist. There was some Sonic comic I did. I'm not too sure.
Were you ever like the kid that... Because I was... from a young age, I was a kid who would always, like, I think when I was like 6 or 7, I started like pinpointing names when I would look at credits for things. Like, did you ever have that thing where you were like, oh, there's people doing this? Because that's what it was for me. Like,
I don't think I ever got to that point with voice acting work until I was like in high school. I think it was at that point that I realized that there were actual people behind it. As far as I was aware as a child, I just thought they were really cool voices. I didn't give a shit about the person. I just liked the voice. And it wasn't until high school, I think, that I really started to grasp, oh, these are actual people that do other things. Like, they voice this character, but they also voice this character and this character. Tom Kenny, holy shit. You're in a lot of stuff, Tom.
That was the first voice actor I ever learned his name.
I saw your tweet about that just earlier
Yeah.
today. That's why I brought up Tom. Is like the first name. I think the first actor that I really recognized in a lot of different things was either Rob Paulson or Jim Cummings. Actually,
Oh, Rob's like my biggest inspiration. Like for
Rob
wanting to be a
Paulson is
voice
such a
actor.
talented dude.
Well, it's funny because his podcast was the reason I originally got interested in interviewing people. So it's kind of him to thank for even I'm still doing this.
Yeah, that's Talking Tunes, right?
Yeah, I don't think he does it anymore. It got something with Nerdist. They have like a partnership, but I don't know if it's going anymore. But you can still find all the old stuff online on his website.
Yeah, Talking Tunes was always really cool. Is that the same thing where he would have different voice actors come in and they would read scripts from like different media in the character voices?
That's the recent version of it, but like originally it was just him and like John DiMaggio in a room together, like just talking to each other, like what we're kind of like what we're doing now. But he would like go to their house.
Okay. Because, yeah, I've seen clips from that variant where it's just him and other voice actors reading off monologues from different media. I don't think I've ever actually listened to his podcast, though.
Oh, I recommend the Billy West one is like one of my favorites.
Okay.
The Billy West one and Richard Horvitz are like two of my favorites that he's done.
Richard Horvitz is also an amazingly talented person.
Oh my God. I met him at a convention that's such a good story. I met him at a convention 3 years ago. And I was in line and I joked about he was going around to get a picture with someone and I was like 2 or 3 people behind him. And I joked to someone that I was talking to in line, like, I interviewed voice actors. Maybe I could like flex and talk about him. And he heard me say show off or flex, and he turned around and he just said, I do that every day.
What a funny guy.
Oh my God, I love him. He's so nice.
Ah, man. He was gonna show up at the Hazbin Hotel premiere back in October, but he didn't manage to make it, unfortunately. I was looking forward to hopefully meeting him, but that's okay. Hopefully in the future.
I mean, I guess, was there, like, bringing up inspiration, was there ever, like, one big voice actor that you still aspire to, or was there ever the one that you had, like, a big connection with?
Oh, yeah, I think that's Rob Paulson right now. Like, it's been Rob Paulson for a while. That's, he is literally the voice of my childhood. So there's a lot of different inspirational voice actors, though. There's Jim Cummings, Rob Paulson, Tom Kenny, Billy West. Those are, like, probably the top 4 people that, just off the top of my head have had an impact on me as a child growing up.
Rob's like a big one for a lot
Rob's
of
been in
people.
fucking everything. He is literally in everything.
Oh, it's like Jeff Bennett. Jeff Bennett's been in like every cartoon, I think.
Yeah, Jeff Bennett, in James and the Giant. I was watching James and the Giant Peach the other day, and I didn't even realize that Jeff Bennett was the singing voice for the Centipede.
Yeah. I've been watching me and some buddies watched Gargoyles recently, and he's really good in that. And we've been watching Transformers Animated recently, and he's so good. Oh my God, he's so good in that.
God, he's great. I don't really know too much that he's done beyond obviously Johnny Bravo. Flapjack. He's also that one bartender guy in Flapjack.
Oh, Peppermint Larry.
Yeah, Peppermint Larry.
How you doing there, Flapjack?
Very good. And then he's like Dexter's dad. I know like those big roles from him. But he is literally in everything also.
Yeah. One of my favorites is Raj from Camp Lazlo. That's like
that's a great role for him. Oh man, I haven't seen Camp Lazlo in like 15 years.
It's so good. There's no DVDs of it, and I hate it.
There aren't. It's not available anywhere to watch anywhere either.
There's so
I think.
many Cartoon Network shows that don't have DVDs, and that's one of them that makes me so mad it doesn't have a DVD.
It's like you have no choice but to pirate it at this point.
Yes, I know, and I hate it. It's like, God, there's a lot of Disney animated things too that don't have DVDs.
I can't remember. Does Foster's Home have DVDs?
It has one.
A single DVD, good.
It has one.
Cool.
It's like, I think Ben 10 has like 3, but I don't remember if they finished it.
Why don't studios release their cartoons on DVD?
I don't know, and I hate it. Oh, you would have a field day talking to a friend of mine who's a collector. collects DVDs and cartoon stuff. Like, and he hates
Another
it.
thing that bothers me is that like some cartoons that are, produced these days, that are in HD don't get Blu-ray releases. They just get DVD releases. So they're stuck in like a lower quality no matter what.
Right. There was a Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog reprint recently, but they didn't put it in Blu-ray. They only put it in the original quality.
Wait, how recent is the reprint? I think I have that.
Last year, I think?
Oh, no, I don't have it.
It was like a year or two ago, something. An interesting thing, I like asking this of people who are, I guess, like, I don't know if I'd say, I feel weird saying, like, fully professional. I guess professional on, like, a Tom Kenny level. I guess asking it to, like, more internet people.
Mm-hmm.
But what's, out of curiosity, what is a franchise you'd be really interested in being involved in?
Well,
Like,
that usually changes. That usually changes a lot because my interests tend to be varied. So, I think like the lifelong goal, for childhood me's sake, would be like Sonic. I don't think I'd want to be like any existing character in Sonic right now.
Like a new
like
character.
Something new probably, but like that's something for like kid me. Me right now, I fucking love Beastars. Have you seen Beastars?
Oh my god! Oh, it's so funny story. I was talking to Brian Beacock a couple weeks ago, and he's in it.
Yeah, he's in Beastars. I think he's the blue bird character.
Brian Peacock is playing a peacock, and we talked about how funny that is. I watched it the day the dub came out, and I thought the dub had already been out for a couple months, and I watched it literally like the day the dub came out. I watched the whole thing. Which I don't do very often.
I still need to see the dub. So I've seen the sub a few times. I watched it through certain means. But I want, that was before it was officially on Netflix and I just couldn't wait. But I do absolutely we bought all the manga, so we are supporting the release still. I don't encourage piracy. Let me just say that now. I promise that I do support official releases. I just really wanted to watch Beastars. But yeah, I do need to watch the dub still. I've already seen it like twice though, subbed. So I kind of feel like I should wait until I have someone I can introduce the dub to watch it with.
Are you worried that, like, because you have a connection with the sub, you might be a little...
No, not at all.
Dub,
I still think I'll enjoy the dub a lot. I've seen clips, and everyone's fantastic.
Oh
it's
God.
just that I'm unsure about watching through it a third time alone when I could watch it with someone who's never seen the dub.
Laura Jo Miller, in particular, is, like, the big standout for me, is...
Because she's a cartoon voice actress. She's done a lot of, like...
Well, yeah, but I mean, I know her as Kari from Digimon, but she's done a lot of cartoon stuff, too. So I just thought it was interesting seeing her in that different of a role.
I'm familiar with her from, like, her role in Wow Wow Wubsy, Juniper Lee... Baby Clifford, of all things, too.
Oh my god, pup named... I was going to say a pup named Clifford, but that's...
pup named Scooby-Doo?
No, that's Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, no, Clifford's Puppy Days or something?
Puppy Days, yeah.
Yeah, I knew her from that stuff, so it's really weird hearing that voice and just knowing that it's attached to the horny rabbit. Yeah.
There's certain lines that make me feel weird, especially because I grew up with her on Digimon. So that's kind of my big connection from when I was.
Does she sound just like the Digimon character she voices?
No, she doesn't. I'd say it sounds closer to how her natural voice sounds when I've heard Laura Jo Miller speak. But I still hear hints of Kari in it, which is why I'm still just kind of, I don't like hearing Kari say these things. I don't like it.
I'm taken aback.
Have you had those kind of things? Because I've had moments with, like, actors I have such a connection with, hearing them do more adult things, like James Arnold Taylor on Drawn Together, or Tara Strong on that.
Oh yeah, like if the voice they're doing for adult things sounds very similar to another cartoon character they've done, it's so hard to not think about that. Like if James Arnold Taylor does a voice similar to Johnny Test and says like, "Man, fuck this shit," you're kind of gonna just think about Johnny Test the whole time. Be like,
Well,
wow,
I think
Johnny.
I think it's not even that. It's for me. It's I know who the actor is, so I'm not used to hearing them say fuck.
Oh, so like no
saying,
matter what, even if it's a different voice,
I'm
if you
just
know it's
not
the actor,
yeah,
like if
I
you hear
know
Tom
it's
Kenny
the
be like,
actor.
"You fucking moron."
It's like Macaulay Culkin in Good Son, that fucking horror movie where he was like the villain in it, like the Home Alone kid. And there's one point in the movie, because he's like 12 in the movie, and there's one point in the film where he just says, "Don't fuck with me."
Yeah, and I'm sure that's jarring.
Yeah, because he's like, well, also, it's not adult Macaulay Culkin. It's still like Home Alone era Macaulay Culkin doing it.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's
no,
interesting.
It's still Macaulay Culkin, like Home Alone era.
Oh, damn. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Which movie is it?
It's called Good Son. It's not a good movie, but it's got Elijah Wood as the main character when he was like 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out and suffer if it's not a good movie.
About a kid and his no, it's a kid who is raised by this family after his mother's sick, and the son in that family is Macaulay Culkin, and he's a psychopath. Like, he like kills animals and like tries to kill his sister and shit. Like, he's like fucking crazy. It's a terrible movie, but it's really entertaining with how shitty it is.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I don't think it might be on Amazon. I don't think it's on any major streaming. So
probably not. Oh god, I was gonna say something. Yeah, so speaking of like actors just swearing, I think the most recent thing I can think of is Tom Kenny. It's funny, Tom Kenny, I think, is the voice actor where no matter what role it is, like, he's got this specific sound to his voice and the way he inflects words that, like, you can tell it's him. And so every time I hear a certain voice, I'm like, oh god, that's Tom Kenny. Like,
oh, for me, it's like Kevin Michael Richardson. It's the second I hear it, I know it's Kevin. Like
I was watching Paradise PD at some point a few months ago. I know. I checked it out because it was on Netflix. I was bored. I know. I've only seen like 2 episodes of it. It made me laugh a little bit because of how stupid it was, but it's not a good show.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I recognized Tom Kenny right away, and I'm just like, oh boy.
It's like,
yeah, Kevin Michael Richardson. He's got a very distinct voice that you always recognize too.
Oh well, I think it's because as I said, for my whole life, I've had such a connection with a lot of voice actors, and I've learned to know what they sound like all the time. That there's just so many people now where I'm just like immediately like, yep, that's Tom. Yep, that's Kevin. That's Tara Strong. That's great. Like immediately like a line or something like that. Like, yeah,
sometimes like it's just a little cadence that pops out. You're like, oh, there it is. They're there.
Yeah. Like I like Greg Sipes. That's a big one.
Yeah, his I actually don't really know any work he's done besides Beast Boy, so I don't really know like if that's just what his voice sounds like or if he does do different like sounding performances. That's just a higher pitched
version of his voice, pretty much.
Okay.
He was there's a show I watched as a kid. I want to know if you remember this show specifically for the title, because every person I've ever talked to only remembers it because of the title. It was a Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. It was on Disney.
Yeah, I was about to say that was on Disney. I've never seen it, but I do recognize the title.
That's one of my favorite shows. I love that show so much, and he was the main character in it. And it's essentially just Beast Boy, just less higher pitched.
All right, cool. Just wanted to make sure. But yeah, I've literally never seen the show. I think I've seen like commercials for it on Disney, but whenever it aired, I just kind of changed the channel.
And that never had a DVD either. That never had a DVD either.
So it's lost to the void or to piracy, I guess.
Well, no, it's forever been on YouTube, pretty much. Like, because that's the only place it's the only place it can thrive.
Oh, like it's officially on YouTube?
No, but it's where everyone puts it now, because that's the only place it can survive, because it's the one show Disney doesn't give a shit to copyright strike people.
It's the only place it belongs. Super Hyperforce. Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. I don't know why, but as a kid, I always got like that title, Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go, mixed with Aqua Teen Hunger Force for some strange reason.
That must have been jarring if you watched that show for the first time thinking it was Monkey Team.
Oh no, I fucking loved Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I never really got it confused, but I would add like some of the words from Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go to Aqua Teen Hunger Force. So it'd be like Aqua Teen Hunger Force Hyperforce Go or something. I would say some shit like that.
I mean, I think it still sounds funny having the additional force in the name, Hyperforce Force. Like, I think it still works as a joke for the show.
Kind of. It's like ironic.
Yeah.
It fits in an ironic way.
I mean, the title itself is ironic because the whole show is
of course.
Joke, so
yeah.
But I guess.
Oh man, I'm looking at like thumbnails for Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go, and I don't know what it is, but this one specific thumbnail I'm seeing and just the colors of it, it's reminding me a little bit of Samurai Pizza Cats.
Well, it's very well. It was a Japanese studio that did it, and it's very, very heavily anime influenced. I think Voltron was the main influence.
Oh, okay.
It was Voltron, Power Rangers. Well, the guy that made it was like huge into Power Rangers and all that stuff. Because the same animation team did the Thundercats show from like a few years ago, and they did,
the 2011 one.
Yeah, and they did Transformers Animated.
Gotcha. Yeah, the Thunder Force, or not Thundercats.
Thunder Force.
Thunder Force.
We're putting force in every TV show name now.
Everything has to have the word force in it. But no, yeah, the Thundercats 2011 series. I've only seen a little bit of it, but it always looked really cool to me. It's a shame it got canceled, but hey, what can you do?
Oh, they did the Berserk movies that came out a few years ago too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
The 3 movies that came out that were like mixture of 2D and CG.
Yeah, the Golden Age arc is what the.
Yeah, those were good movies. They weren't bad. They adapted. They did the style of them was way better than the new series, at least. Have you seen the new series of Berserk?
I've seen bits. I've seen bits and pieces.
It's not the greatest CG anime I've ever seen.
That's a nice way of putting it.
You know, that's also a nice transition back to Beastars, because that is one of those anime that I think did a fantastic job with the CG.
So good. It looks so good for CG.
I saw a video that someone made talking about how they think that Beastars wouldn't be as like successful if it were 2D animated, and I agree. There's just something so charming about the way it was done in 3D.
Yeah.
Where it actually stands out a lot.
Yeah, because it's funny because I've been seeing there was that Ultraman Netflix show, and that looks really good too. When I watched that recently, that anime that they've done, that's like a.
I saw it. I saw that it was on there. I still haven't seen that yet, though. Is it any good?
It's pretty good. It's a sequel series to the like the original like Ultraman from the 60s.
Oh damn! Okay.
Yeah, it's like a sequel show, but it's like all completely CG.
Oh, it's all CG. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to give that a little look.
And it's done in that Beastar style. It's like that complete with CG anime style modeling.
Okay. There's another anime that the same people that did Beastars did. It's called like Land of the Lustrous. I don't know if you've seen that or not, or heard of it.
Is that the thing with like the diamond?
They've got like shards of glass or something.
Yeah.
They're like, they're gems or something. I can't remember.
A friend of mine
but
showed me the intro. That looks amazing.
It is. It's got such a good style to it. I still haven't seen it. I've only seen the opening song, but it is so pretty. And Ashley, my girlfriend, is currently like, she still thinks that it looks way better than Beastars. Like, we both love Beastars. She still thinks that Land of the Lustrous is just ahead of the game.
It's also like two different styles of show. I think that's the other thing, because one.
Yeah, true. I think Land of the Lustrous, Land of the Lustrous requires a lot more particle effects and stuff because of, or not particle effects, but just like certain lighting conditions and certain things, because they're literally made of glass or some kind of shard. And
the whole show is more colorful than Beastars is.
Yeah, Beastars is a little more naturally colored, whereas Land of the Lustrous is a lot more, I don't want to say magical, but it's just more fantasy.
It's got a more fantastical element to it compared to...
I still need to see that. I think that's on Crunchyroll. I don't know if that has a dub or not, but I think it's on Crunchyroll.
It's weird to say it's more fantastical when we're comparing a show with gem people and a show with animals. people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a show with animal people, but it's trying to be very like real to actual society in a way.
It's
like
more grounded than it's kind of like BoJack, where they're animal people. They just happen to be animal people. It's not like fantastical in terms of how it's.
Yeah, like they're not trying to be like in this world where all these magical creatures live. It's literally just they exist in this world. Nobody questions it. They're just here.
That gave me like Disney DVD like sneak peeks voiceover like flashbacks right there.
I was watching so I don't have any of my old video cassettes, but I just suddenly at some point while I was sitting on the toilet a few days ago, that's the place where all of the thoughts and reminiscing happen. I was sitting on the toilet and I was just reminiscing about my old Rugrats video cassette tapes and all of the commercials that would play at the beginning of like those VHS tapes. And
yeah, I had like a ton of those.
Yeah, me too. And there were just so many cool Oh, what about like the Pokemon VHS tapes? Did you ever see
I had like every single one of like the original run.
Do you remember like I can't remember if it was at the beginning. I think it was at the end of the VHS tape.
They all had I remember all of them. It was Kimba the White Lion.
Yes.
It was Ranma 1/2 the movie. The Dog of Flanders, and I swear there was a fourth one, but I can't remember what the fourth one was. But those are always the three commercials.
I know there was a commercial for the Pokemon Game Boy Color like game.
Yes, the one where it's
where they were like driver. In the bus. Yeah,
yes, the bus driver.
Yeah, where the Pokemon all get like condensed and shit. And it's just like, yeah. That was a fucking weird commercial.
Oh no, it's so morbid. It's such a morbid commercial. I mean, I'd kill him. I'll always remember that gotcha, like right after he clamps them all down in the bus.
Speaking of that commercial, like that also reminds me that let me look something up so I can find their name. Oh, will I not be able to? I was I was trying to be smart and look up something very subtly, but that's not gonna happen.
I was trying to be impromptu while I hear like in the background
with my incredibly loud keyboard.
My typewriter ass
keyboard. There was a voice actress at 4Kids that the voice of Jigglypuff. I can't remember her name.
Rachel Lillis.
Rachel, wow, you know that right off the bat.
It's an encyclopedia in this brain. If you need to know who played something, I can tell you.
Okay, because I'm sure you already know this too, but Rachel Lillis did voice Pikachu at like I think 2 points.
Yeah, because there's like instances in the anime where Pikachu is like Pikachu, it's more like this. Like it's
was like I remember that was during a Foggy episode, I believe. It was like a foggy, misty kind of scene.
The Grimer episode, I think.
Yeah, that episode. There's like a scene where you hear the Pikachu. Yeah. And there's. And it's also in that one commercial with the bus where it's like, Pikachu!
Pikachu! No, I remember. Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah. I don't think she's voiced Pikachu otherwise, except for those like 2 instances, maybe one more.
No, I don't I know I remember finding out the reason why she had to. I don't remember if it was like the recording had fucked up or something when they got the footage, or I don't know what it was, but I know she had to do it because they felt like they needed to add like additional bits of sound design or mixing to certain scenes. Like they felt like they needed to add more sound, or they would edit in like more Pikachu sounds sometimes.
Okay, interesting. As a kid, I never really noticed the difference. It just sounded like Pikachu to me, but now that I've got a little more of a trained ear for that, it's immediately recognizable.
Oh, it's like when a voice actor gets replaced. Like you don't think about it as a kid. Like when you play licensed games, like based on movies or something like that, you don't think about it. Because I remember,
unless it's a really obvious one, like the replacement for Clancy Brown in Battle for Bikini Bottom. That's have you ever?
Yeah.
Do you remember what Mr. Krabs sounded like in that game?
It's the same guy who did Mermaid Man in that game because they couldn't get
it. That's right. Yeah, he sounds like really, really off. So it's like immediately I'm like, oh, that's not Mr. Krabs, even as a kid.
I think I hate Mermaid Man more because every time I heard Mermaid Man in that game, I just think it sounds like a 40-year-old, 30-year-old guy trying to sound old. Like it just sounds like someone go, yeah, the TV repair me. Like it's like it's something like that. It's terrible. Damn. It's so bad. And no, I'm not even trying to shit on the actor. I just think it was like a wrong choice or a wrong person for the role.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. I mean, not all can be winners, I guess. And
Right.
it's a licensed game, so if they couldn't get certain voice actors, they had to do what they could and get someone else. But I don't know, not the best fit.
It's like Looney Tunes. Like there's been like 10 people for every Looney Tune, I think, in the last like 30 years. Like there's tons of different people, and some are better than others. I've heard bad Daffy Ducks. I've heard amazing Daffy Ducks. Like since Mel Blanc passed away, it's the same thing.
Yeah, again, not all of them are going to be winners. Some of them are going to be good in one aspect. Others going to be good in every other aspect. There's different qualities to a voice that one actor might have that one actor doesn't.
I think back on the franchise thing, talking about that, it's funny because we bring this up because I'd say like a big franchise for me is Transformers. That's something I've always wanted, is something like Transformers, and that's another one where again, like Peter Cullen and Frank Welker can play Megatron and Optimus till the day they die, but I think every other character has had like God knows how many other people playing them. Like that's the other thing.
Oh God! Speaking of Frank Welker, it's insane just how long-standing his roles have been.
Oh yeah,
especially as Fred.
Fred, 50 years last year.
Literally, the only instance where he's not voicing Fred in any animated capacity is fucking the new movie because they didn't let him reprise Fred, just Scooby-Doo.
I think. Well, I mean, I think there's also a pup named Scooby-Doo, but obviously.
Well, yeah, but that's not adult Fred.
Right, but it's weird because they still got Casey Kasem to play Shaggy.
Yeah,
he's like the only one they still got.
I'm not gonna lie. Frank Welker's got a very deep voice, so I think having him do like young Fred probably would have been jarring no matter what. So I think they probably made an all right decision there. But like as far as adult,
Zoink Scoob!
Like, come on, Fred. Hey, what are you doing over there?
Hey, what are you doing?
Son, why do you sound like you're 30? What do you mean, Dad?
What do you mean, Dad? I just got your cigarette. I was smoking your cigarettes and it made my voice deeper.
Don't smoke, kids.
Well, I think now I might be wrong, but I think he's the last of that generation of voice actors, like from that era, because Cindy Bear, Julie Bennett just passed away, and I think I think he's now like the last surviving person from that era. That and the original Johnny Quest, like that's pretty much it. Everyone is gone now. Like that's so
damn, that's sad.
Oh no, it is. It's like the last 5 years we've lost pretty much the last of that era. It's so depressing to think about.
It is crazy though that Frank Welker is still doing a lot of good work too. Like he is not stopped in this industry. He's still going, still constantly doing work.
It's crazy how prevalent, because there's a lot of voice actors from the 70s and 80s that can't get as much work nowadays. Because like Michael Bell, Jack Angel, they're like either they're too old to get a lot of work now, or it's just harder for them to find work. And I know that's the case with even like real on stage or on film actors. The older you get, the harder it is.
Yeah. I think that Frank Welker managed to adapt very well because he can do creature noises very well too. And I think that he's just, brushed up on a lot of things to make himself very versatile.
Right. Well, it's like D. Baker. D. Baker's like a huge inspiration.
Oh, he's huge on those like creature noises, I know.
He's ridiculous how much he can do. Like, it's crazy watching.
Doesn't he offer workshops for his creature noises or something?
Oh, yeah.
For like,
he has reels on his website of just creature noises, and it's crazy. And he has like different types on his website.
Man,
it's nuts how talented that guy is.
I can only imagine how much time is just spent like sitting in isolation, listening to animals and just trying to mimic.
Oh, I watched a interview with him where he talked about that. He just watches nature documentaries all the time. Like he just does it all the time and just listens to what they sound like, and he tries to replicate it.
Man, that sounds like fun.
I just wanted to see how long we
Fucking
could drag
complete
that.
silence.
I wanted to
That
see how
sounds
long
like
we could
fun.
drag that.
Who's gonna make the first animal noise?
Oh, was that like a Mexican standoff to see who was gonna be the first one?
I guess
to go,
so. It's like
to go.
Who's gonna try the tiger growl?
Who's gonna be the first one in this room to go fucking? Like
That's better than I can do. I can't do any creature noises. I'm a failure.
Oh no, I again, because D's such a big inspiration. I hate feeling like I'm flexing right now. I don't.
Nah, no worries, man. I've never studied animal creature noises, so that's admittedly one of my weak spots right now.
I think like Wild Mutton Ben 10 was like one of the first times I like was trying to do it, because that's when I kind of picked up that it was a person doing it, because I think it was just hearing the like when he was sniffing or something like that. I could hear the snorts and stuff like that, because I think D and Frank have ways that you can like determine who's who, because I've always noticed Frank is much more snorty when he does a lot of stuff with animals, and D's a lot more like screeches and things like that. Like he's a lot more higher pitched with his noises.
It's always so interesting just knowing like specific qualities that like make a person's voice more recognizable and like more distinct.
Well, and again, this is like creature sound.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I can pick out. Well, it's like Steve Bloom does them too, and his is a lot more guttural when I hear him do stuff, because he's a lot more like that, like in the back of the throat kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, interesting question, because this is something I've recently been asking people because I think it's an interesting idea. What is something you wanted but you didn't get, or you got close?
Like what? Do you mean voice acting wise, or
Yes,
just like
voice
something I've
acting-wise.
wanted?
What
Okay.
is something mentally that I have wanted my entire life?
Oh, when I was a kid, I literally put on a birthday wish list. I wanted a jetpack. Like unironically, I said I wanted a jetpack.
When I'm older, I will figure out how to get a jetpack, and I'm 24 and I still don't know
It's
how.
because I watched way too much Jimmy Neutron, and I was convinced, all right, Jimmy Neutron can have a jetpack, so can I.
So can I.
This little fucking kid's got a jetpack. I can have a jetpack. Mom, I want a jetpack.
Could Santa be nice to me just once, Mom? Just one time?
Oh, man. I don't know. I can't think of like certain roles that I've really wanted that I have auditioned for. I'd have to look back into my like list of auditions or like just things.
Go back to the behind the voice actors days when we first
Oh
met.
my god. I just went to their website again recently and I saw they changed their logo too.
Oh, they changed the entire layout. I go there like every day. They've changed a lot of stuff like in the past few weeks.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have not really checked there in a while, so like I just popped back for the first time in a year and I'm just like, whoa.
I never use casting call there because I've kind of come to it's not even shitting on the website because the website's fantastic, but I mean even back in the day, I don't think the casting call stuff was there wasn't that many great things being offered on that site. Especially in comparison to like other sites like Voice Acting Alliance at the time, which that's sadly dead.
Yeah, I started using the casting call section of that site back in like 2014. Mostly because that was I'd been out of the game for voice acting for a long time. I used to voice act back in like 2008 up until I'd say 2011, 2012, and then I kind of stopped to focus on high school, and then I fell into a little depression, and I got a job. Was still depressed. Got laid off from said job because it was only like a holiday thing. It was a holiday thing, so it wasn't anything like big deal. It was just
It was a temp.
Yeah, it was a little temp job. Got laid off because of that. Was still depressed. I was like, man, I don't have any friends anymore. I'm depressed, and so I'm like, I'm gonna get back into voice acting, and so I did. And I used BTVA as like the platform to do that, and it's, you know, the casting call section wasn't great. It had its share of issues, but I made a lot of good friends off of it that I still talk to today and whatnot. Like, so I mean, it's not all, you know, worthless. It was a good place to make friends that were interested in voice acting.
I will give it. It wasn't all bad because I got to meet so many people I still noted, like some of my best friends, like I know now because of that site.
Yeah.
Like,
you know,
I mean, again,
we'll probably shit on it forever. Like, we'll always have stories from the website that, you know, probably aren't the best. Some stories that are good, but probably most of the time stories that aren't the best.
Like, me and you met through that back in 2014. So
We did.
yeah.
There were a lot of people that I like reconnected with through BTVA that I'd known from VAA. So that was nice. I think VAA was still around when I got back into voice acting, but it died pretty quickly after.
Yeah, that died, I think, like 2016. Like, I want to say that's when it was, 2016, 2017.
Man, that's a shame. I loved Voice Acting Alliance.
It's like, for me, it was kind of a double-edged sword because I met some great people. And, I met some not good people through that site. It was a very double-edged sword site for me.
Yeah, do you mean like bad people that were like elitists, or do you mean like trolls?
I would call toxic is what I would call them.
Oh, okay.
People.
Okay, that makes sense.
Very bad people.
Yeah, there's gonna be people like that everywhere. It sucks, but not everybody's a good person on the internet.
There were 2 Skype groups I became a part of from that site, and one of them died because literally everyone started fighting in the entire group. It was like 30 people, and everyone fucking fought. And the other one was people constantly talking behind each other's backs.
I have the feeling that I might know some of these groups, and I might have been in them.
You might have been I think you were in one of them because one of them just crashed and burned. Like, it all ended when, like, there was one call and it was like 20 people all screaming at each other in a call. It was terrible.
Oh my god. I know there was one server. I don't know if I want to name the individual because of some circumstances.
Like, for me, I don't remember any of the people. Like, so...
I remember this one owner of a Skype group that was some kind of... I keep wanting to say server because I'm so used to Discord, but it's Skype. This is Skype. So Skype I'm like, what are the words for Skype groups anymore? I forget. But yeah, it was some Skype chat, and I remember the guy that had the call that started everything. I don't want to name them because there's some controversy with them, and they might have killed themselves at some point.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so that's a kind of bad story, but they weren't the best person, and there was a lot of drama surrounding them on Skype, and even more so sometime last year when they presumably killed themselves, which is not confirmed, I think, but like hopefully they didn't. Yeah, there's some drama.
Oh god,
there's some stuff.
Yeah. How did we get here? I don't remember. Oh,
I don't remember either.
Talking about Voice Acting Alliance, that's what it was. Because we were talking about like the where we started. That's what it was. Like things that we wish we had gotten or stuff like that. I mean, I've got one, like at least I can think of off the top of my head that I almost got. As far as I know, apparently I got really close to being in Hazbin.
Oh, really? Damn.
I believe I was like in the top 10 for Husk.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really close with me as Angel. I remember Dave Capdeville, the writer, one of the writers for Hazbin.
Yeah, Dave was the one that told me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dave Capdeville told me about how it was literally down to the wire between me and one other voice actor for Angel, and Viv was like, I can't decide. And Dave was the one that was like, I like Michael. And she's like, yeah, you're right. And so it's really funny to know that Dave kind of sealed my fate. It's always like funny and cool hearing like just how far along you are in being considered for a role, but it's also scary, especially when you don't get it and you're like second place. You're just like, wow, fuck, I was that close.
It was like top 10 or top 5. I don't remember which one it was, but I remember being told I was really close. And I think
Husk, do you remember what kind of voice you did for Husk?
I think it was actually kind of weirdly close to what ended up being in the actual thing, because I remember hearing the voice, and if I remember, it was so long ago, but I do vaguely remember. I think it was something like this. I think it was something in this area. I remember was the voice. It was something like kind of pseudo Squidward-ish. Like there might have been a bit of rasp, but I remember it was kind of like a pseudo Squidward-ish kind of voice.
It's always weird. I auditioned for Husk and Alistair as well as Angel, so like I personally was thinking that I was probably a better fit for like Angel or Husk. I didn't have too much confidence in Alistair.
That's the thing. I think I auditioned for Angel too. The audition does not exist anymore probably, but I'm pretty sure I did because I remember.
Oh, I backed up my auditions for Hazbin. I've still got them all. They're not too great.
I think it was also because that was on my old computer, so those files are long gone.
Yeah, I've still got my auditions. They're right here. Here you go. Here you go. You could just have them. They're not great.
Oh, I thought you were just gonna straight up play it.
No, you can just have them. There you go for future reference. I gave 2 different takes for Angel because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and
I think for Angel, I remember it being I don't think it was very good, but I vaguely remember my Angel
Was something like this? I think it was something in this area when I did it. Like there was kind of I guess a meowthiness to it. That's the closest I can compare it to.
Yeah, I know that. Hey, Rose, down. Rose. Sorry, my cat is like trying to get in where she shouldn't be. For Angel, I was looking at a bunch of old references for like headcanon voices. I know Steve Buscemi was a headcanon voice for Angel.
Ooh, yeah.
So I was trying to kind of stick to a more natural sounding voice, like closer to my natural voice. So
I did a take for Angel that was more around here. There was a little less nasally, less high. It was more around here.
More casual kind of.
Yeah, just a little bit more casual.
And then I did one that was like
just a little bit higher, but not too much higher. It's halfway there. It's like halfway to where Angel is.
And then Viv emailed me and said, "Hey, so I really like your voice and your energy, but I think that if you could maybe kind of go in a more Joe Pesci-esque direction, that might fit a lot better. And also if you go a little harder on the accent."
And so that's what led to this voice where it's a little higher. And I sometimes forget to put as heavy of an accent on the character. So it's halfway accented, halfway not. But that's what became of the voice. It's got that New Yorker quality to it. Again, I guess that's kind of... I couldn't tell you what dialect it is. I don't know what fucking parts of New York there are. It's just an accent from New York or Jersey or something.
It's like when I did like... I have a British friend, and I remember I did a what Americans call a British accent, and he said it's good. It's just a generalized British accent. There's no like specific area where you're clearly from. It's just kind of like you get the basic idea. It's a British accent when you do it. Kind of.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I have a lot of respect. I've got a lot of respect for people that actually do practice or not practice, but people that just know their dialects. It's like I've been talking to Chris Ayers a little bit on Ashley's streams, the Honeycasts. I don't know if you've seen any of those, but Chris,
I've watched a few of them.
Yeah, have you seen any of the ones with Chris Ayers in them?
I might have. I know I've seen a shit ton of clips taken from all the Honeycast stuff on Twitter and YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a bunch of really cool animatics and everything too. People are so talented.
I'm kind of like with Game Grumps or Let's Players. I just watch like little bits. I don't usually watch like whole things sometimes.
Yeah, and I get that because the Honeycast is a very long form thing. So usually the best parts are taken in the form of clips, and that is probably the best way to watch them, I think, too. But yeah, I literally forgot what I was going to say.
Shit. We were talking about accents.
Oh yeah, Chris Ayers. Chris Ayers was talking about just all these different dialects because he's a dialect guy. He practiced and studied a bunch of dialects and how you know, when he was approached for Black Butler. Have you seen Black Butler at all?
No, but I know about it.
I don't know if you know his character, but I believe his character is of like Indian descent or something, some kind of very, very thick accent. And you know, I guess most of the people that were auditioning for the role just couldn't really get it. And so the voice director came out and just like ran up to Chris Ayers and was like, "You're good with dialects, right?" He's like, "I need this this specific Indian dialect or some accent." And Chris named like 4 different types of dialects of Indian culture. And the voice director just like, "Okay, since you seem to know all of these fucking other different types of dialects, you are probably the guy I need. Come to me right now." So, like, it's just insane just how many fucking varieties of dialects there are for different regions, and just how there are people that can distinguish each and every one of them and perform like that.
Oh yeah, there's I don't remember if it's like Wired or like there's some YouTube series where they interview this dialect coach, and he like breaks down like impressions that celebrities do in movies, and like different dialects that actors do. It's really cool to see how he like talks about how accurate their accents are, how inaccurate they are. And he'll like do the accent, and he'll like do the accent like to like show like what it's supposed to sound like and how close it is. Like,
man,
it's nuts. And some of it's like really like small like not as well known dialects, like Bulgarian or something like that.
I couldn't even tell you what that sounds like.
That's the thing. Do you even know what a Bulgarian accent sounds like?
I have like the basic idea of what like a French and German and Russian and I don't know. I know what those sound like.
Like the weirdest accent I think I know is Belgian, and the only reason I know that is because I watch Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. That's the only reason I even know what a Belgian accent sounds like.
I think that's the main reason anybody knows what a Belgian accent sounds like.
Anyway, I gotta say, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Oh, hey, no prob, dude. Thank you for having me, man.
All right. Is there anything you want to promote? Anything you want to shout out?
If it's still going, I definitely recommend checking out the Lackadaisy Kickstarter. There's an animated short film for a webcomic called Lackadaisy. It's been running since 2007. It's created by a wonderful artist named Tracy Butler. She is fantastic. It's about a bunch of rum runner cats in the 20s, basically trying to secure alcohol. It's during the time where alcohol was it was during the Prohibition, where alcohol was not allowed. So it's a very fun story. I think that you will like it. Check out the webcomic at lackadaisy.com. And there's a Kickstarter. I'm not gonna fucking say a link, because hell if I know the whole link URL. But https://www.kickstarter.com/ironspike/lackadaisy-the-short-film or some shit like that.
I swear to God, if you're right,
it's not that. There's something missing. I know there's something missing. Anyway, yeah.
I swear to God, if you're right.
I'm not right. There's something missing there. But yeah, no, check out the Lackadaisy animated short film Kickstarter. I believe it's going on for another week or two. Maybe check out the trailer for that. See if you like it. If not, that sucks, but I like it, so
I mean, you're in it, so it's a little biased, but
that's a little biased. I think it's a really cool story. I think they got really fun characters, and it's a really cool setting. Very accurate to the 20s too. I don't know if you've read any of it, but it is incredibly accurate to the 20s.
I've never heard of it, the webcomic.
It's funny, I didn't hear about it either. I was just approached for the role, and it was at the Hazbin cast and crew premiere. I was approached for the role by the director for the show, and they said, "Hey, you want to be in this 20s rum runner thing?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And so I kind of agreed to it. I didn't know what it was. They gave me like a link to the website and the character, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. This has a nice art style. This character looks cool." And then I proceeded to tell Ashley about it, and she's like, "Wait, what?" Because she knew exactly what it was, because she's big in like the furry community and whatnot, and she has a lot of friends that do webcomics. So she knew immediately what it was. She's like, "That's a big deal." And I'm like, "Really? I didn't know what it was." Well, that's cool.